Here are moments in life you never forget. The day you get married. The day your first child is born. And then there are the moments you wish you could forget. The ones that haunt you in the dark, that play over and over in your mind like a broken record. For me, that moment happened on a Tuesday night. It was cold. The kind of cold that bites at your skin and makes the windows fog up from the inside. My name is not important, but the story I'm about to tell you, that matters. It's a story about friendship, about trust, and about the night I realized I never really knew my best friend at all. It started with a text message. A simple, innocent text. It was from my best friend, Derek. We had known each other for 15 years. Since high school. He was the best man at my wedding. I was the godfather to his daughter. We were the kind of friends who didn't need to talk every day to know the other was there. The text read, "Hey man, busy Friday? I need to talk to you about something. It's important. Come by the house." At first, I didn't think much of it. Derek was always dramatic. He was the kind of guy who treated a flat tire like a natural disaster. So I replied, "Sure, I'll swing by after work." I thought maybe he wanted help fixing his porch light. Or maybe he wanted to borrow money again. I didn't know that this simple reply was a one-way ticket into a nightmare. Friday came faster than I expected. I remember driving to his house. He lived in a nice neighborhood, clean lawns, white fences, the American dream. He had the perfect life. A beautiful wife named Sarah, a little girl named Lily, and a golden retriever named Max. Looking back, it was too perfect. Like a painting where the colors are just a little too bright. I pulled into his driveway. The house looked normal, but something felt off. The curtains were drawn tight. Usually, Sarah left them open to let the sun in for her plants. Not today. They were sealed shut. I walked up to the front door, and before I could knock, the door swung open. It was Derek. But he didn't look like Derek. He looked like a ghost wearing Derek's clothes. His eyes were red, like he hadn't slept in days. His hair was a mess. He was wearing the same shirt he had worn to the barbecue last weekend. He grabbed my arm and pulled me inside.
"Get in. Quick."
The living room was a disaster. Not robbed, just neglected. There were empty coffee cups everywhere. Pillows on the floor. And sitting in the corner, on the edge of the sofa, was Sarah. She wasn't moving. She was just staring at the wall. I looked at Derek. "Dude, what is going on? Is everything okay? Is Lily okay?" He looked at me, and his lip trembled. "Lily is fine. She's at my mother's." But no, everything is not okay. He sat down on the arm of the sofa and put his head in his hands. The silence in that room was so heavy, I felt like I couldn't breathe. Finally, he looked up. "I need your help. I messed up."
"I messed up so bad, man."
I sat down opposite him. "Okay, whatever it is, we can fix it. Did you lose your job? Is it money?" He shook his head.
"No."
"It's worse. It's about Sarah." I looked over at Sarah. She didn't react to her name. She just kept staring. Derek leaned forward. His voice dropped to a whisper, even though we were the only ones in the room. "I think someone is watching us. I think someone is trying to destroy my family. And I think I know who it is." I felt a cold shiver run down my spine.
Who?
"Who is it?" He looked me dead in the eye. His face was pale. "It's my brother. My brother, Mark." My heart stopped.
Mark.
Derek's younger brother. I had known Mark for years. He was a quiet guy. A bit awkward. He lived alone in a small apartment across town. He was at every family dinner, every birthday party. He was harmless. Or so I thought. Derek, that doesn't make any sense. Mark loves you guys. He adores Lily. Derek stood up and walked to the window, peeking through the curtain like he expected someone to be standing there. That's what I thought. But I found things. Messages on Sarah's phone. She deleted them, but I restored the backup. They're from a blocked number. They talk about things only someone close to us would know. He pulled out his phone and showed me a screenshot. The message read, "I saw you at the park today. You looked beautiful. He doesn't deserve you." I read it 3 times. It didn't feel real. "Okay," I said, trying to stay calm. "That's creepy. But it could be anyone." "Why Mark?" Derek's eyes filled with a dark, desperate anger. Because yesterday, I found a key in his apartment. A key to our house. That statement hit me like a truck. A key to their house. How did Derek even get into Mark's apartment? The questions started piling up in my head, but before I could ask, Sarah finally spoke. Her voice was hoarse, like she hadn't used it in days. He's been in our bedroom. I can feel it. My things are moved. My perfume bottle was turned around. He's been watching me sleep. I felt sick. This wasn't just creepy anymore. This was a violation. This was a crime. I turned to Derek. Okay, what's the plan? Have you called the police? Derek shook his head violently.
No.
No police.
Not yet.
Mark is my brother. If I call the cops and I'm wrong, my mom will never forgive me. The family will be destroyed. I need proof. Concrete. Undeniable proof. I understood. Family politics are messy. But at the same time, Sarah looked terrified. She needed protection. So, what do you want me to do? I asked, though a part of me already knew the answer. Derek looked at me with a pleading expression I had never seen before. I need you to stay here tonight. Watch the house with me. I bought cameras. Hidden cameras. I want to set them up. But I can't do it alone. I'm too shaky. And if he shows up, I don't trust myself not to lose it. I looked at Sarah. She nodded slowly, a tiny, desperate movement. Please, she whispered. How could I say no? This was my best friend. His family was in danger. So I said yes. I said yes, and I walked into a trap I didn't even know was set. For the next 2 hours, Derek and I worked. We set up tiny cameras in the living room, pointed at the back door. We set one in the hallway upstairs. And the hardest one, the one that made my skin crawl, was the one we set up in the master bedroom, hidden inside a teddy bear on a shelf, pointed directly at the bed. Every time I touched that bear, I felt dirty, but Derek insisted. If he comes in there, I need to see it. I need to see his face. By midnight, we were done. Derek made coffee. We sat in the dark living room, watching the feeds on a laptop. The screens were gray and empty. The house was silent. Sarah had taken a sleeping pill and was passed out upstairs. Hours passed. 1 in the morning.
2.
3. My eyes were burning. I was starting to think this was all a big misunderstanding. Maybe Derek was having a mental breakdown. Maybe the stress of work and family had gotten to him. I was about to suggest we call it a night when Derek grabbed my arm.
Look.
On the laptop screen, the camera in the hallway flickered to life. The motion sensor had been triggered. We watched as a dark figure appeared at the top of the stairs. He moved slowly, carefully. He knew exactly where to step to avoid the creaky floorboards. My heart started pounding in my ears. Is that Mark? Derek didn't answer. He just stared. The figure walked past the camera and disappeared into the master bedroom. We switched to the bedroom feed. The room was dark, but the camera's night vision painted everything in an eerie green glow. We could see Sarah sleeping in the bed, and we could see the figure standing over her. He just stood there, watching, for what felt like an eternity. Then he reached out a hand. He gently touched her hair. Sarah stirred, but didn't wake up. Derek stood up. His face was red with rage. That's him. That's my brother. He started moving toward the stairs. I grabbed him.
Wait.
Derek, wait. Let's call the police now. We have the proof. But Derek was beyond reason. He shook me off and ran up the stairs. I followed close behind. Derek burst into the bedroom and flipped on the light.
Mark.
Get away from her. The figure spun around, and in the bright light of the bedroom, I saw his face. But it wasn't Mark. It was a face I knew better than almost anyone. It was a face I saw in the mirror every morning. But that's impossible, because the face standing by the bed was Derek. And Derek was standing right next to me. I need you to understand the confusion I felt in that moment. It was like the world tilted on its axis. I saw Derek standing in the doorway right next to me, but I also saw Derek standing over Sarah's bed. For a split second, I thought I was losing my mind. I thought the lack of sleep had given me hallucinations. Then the figure by the bed spoke.
Well,
This is awkward. The voice was Derek's, but the tone was wrong. It was cold, sarcastic. It was a voice I had never heard before. The Derek next to me, the one I thought was my best friend, started screaming.
who are you?
What are you doing in my house? The imposter smiled. It was a chilling, humorless smile. Come on, brother. Don't play dumb. You knew it was me. You just wanted an audience.
Brother?
I looked at the imposter. Really looked at him. He was identical to Derek. Same height, same build, same face. But there was a coldness in his eyes that Derek never had. The imposter looked at me.
Hello.
It's nice to finally meet you properly. Derek talks about you all the time. I'm David. David. Derek had a twin? In 15 years of friendship, he had never once mentioned a twin brother. Derek, the real Derek, or whoever was standing next to me, was trembling. Shut up, David. Just shut up. David laughed. It was a soft, quiet laugh that made the hair on my arms stand up.
Oh, Derek.
You dragged your poor friend into this thinking you could frame me? That I was the creepy stalker? That's rich. Tell him, Derek. Tell him who I really am. I looked at Derek. Derek, what is he talking about? Do you have a twin? Derek wouldn't look at me. He kept staring at David, his fists clenched. David walked toward us. He moved with a relaxed confidence that was terrifying. Derek and I are twins, yes. Identical. But we haven't spoken in 10 years. Not since he stole my life. I didn't steal anything. Derek shouted. You were sick. You needed help. I was in love. David's voice cracked for the first time, showing a sliver of genuine pain. I was in love with Sarah, and you knew it. We met her at the same time, Derek, at that coffee shop. She smiled at me first.
Me.
But you couldn't stand it, could you? You couldn't stand that someone might love me more than you. My head was spinning. Sarah, who was now awake, huddled against the headboard, her eyes wide with terror. David continued. So you had me committed. You told everyone I was schizophrenic. You said I was a danger to myself. You used my own breakdown against me. And while I was locked up, pumped full of drugs, you married her. You raised a family. You lived my life. Derek shook his head. That's not how it happened. You were obsessed with her. You threatened to hurt yourself. I did what I had to do to protect everyone. Protect everyone? David spat. Or protect your perfect little image. You couldn't have a crazy twin brother ruining your barbecues, could you? The room fell silent. I was just a spectator now, watching a family tragedy unfold. David turned to me. I got out 6 months ago. And do you know what the first thing I did was? I came to see her. Just to look. I never touched her. Not until tonight. I just wanted to be near her. But Derek found out. And instead of calling the police, instead of dealing with me like a man, he set up this little play. He wanted you to see me as the villain. He wanted you to write a story about how he caught the evil twin stalking his wife. I looked at Derek. Is that true? Derek's face crumbled. The anger vanished, replaced by shame. I didn't know how to handle it. I was scared. The betrayal I felt in that moment wasn't just Derek betraying me with a lie. It was deeper. It was the betrayal of 15 years of friendship built on a foundation of omission. He had hidden a whole chapter of his life. He had hidden a brother. I looked at Sarah. She was staring at David, but not with fear anymore. It was confusion and curiosity. David? She whispered. I remember you. I remember that smile. At the coffee shop. You were so shy. You spilled your drink. David's cold expression softened for just a moment. A flicker of the man he used to be. You remember that? I asked the barista about you. Sarah said, tears streaming down her face. She said you were gone. That you had moved away. Derek stepped forward. Sarah, don't listen to him. He's manipulating you.
He's sick.
Am I sick? David challenged. Or did you just tell everyone I was sick so you could have her? Let's ask her. Sarah, in the last 10 years, has Derek ever let you have friends? Has he ever let you go out alone? Does he check your phone? Sarah looked at Derek. The doubt in her eyes was clear. He likes to know where I am. He says it's because he loves me. It's control, David said softly. It's always been control. I finally found my voice. This is insane. All of you. We need to call the police. There's a break-in. There's a restraining order needed. Something. David looked at me. You're right. Call them. Let's get them here. Let's get the whole story on the record. Let's see how Derek explains the fact that he forged my signature on the commitment papers 10 years ago. Derek paled. That's a lie.
Is it?
David pulled a folded, worn piece of paper from his back pocket. He handed it to me. It was a photocopy of a document. It looked official. And at the bottom, there was a signature. David Miller. But next to it, in a different pen, was a note. Witnessed by Derek Miller. I'm no handwriting expert, but the signature and the witnessing signature looked exactly the same. I looked at Derek. The man I called my brother. The man I trusted. He was a liar. And worse, he was a thief. He had stolen his brother's freedom, his identity, his chance at love. I had a choice. I could walk away. I could pretend I never saw this. I could go home, go back to my safe, simple life, and let this family destroy itself. But then I looked at Sarah. She was shaking. She had just found out her husband was a master manipulator. She had just found out the man who visited her at night wasn't a monster. He was a victim. I looked at David. He was broken. But he was fighting. He wanted his life back. I pulled out my phone.
Derek saw me.
What are you doing?
Don't. Please.
Think of Lily. Think of my daughter. I am thinking of her, I said. She deserves to know the truth about her father. I dialed 911. The next few hours were a blur of blue and red lights. Police cars filled the quiet street. Neighbors peeked through their curtains. Derek was taken away for questioning. So was David. I gave my statement. I showed them the footage from the cameras, the footage Derek himself had set up. It showed David entering. But it also showed the years of manipulation Derek had confessed to in front of me. The investigation took months. It turned out David wasn't lying. Derek had indeed used his brother's mental health crisis, a real but temporary depression after their father died, to have him committed. He had lied to doctors, lied to their mother, and isolated Sarah from anyone who might tell her the truth. He had built his perfect life on a foundation of lies. In the end, Derek faced charges for false imprisonment and fraud. He lost his job. He lost his house. And most importantly, he lost Sarah. She divorced him. The twist? Sarah and David didn't run off into the sunset together. That would be too neat, too Hollywood. The trust was too broken. The years of separation too long. But David did get to know his niece, Lily. And slowly, he became a part of her life. The good uncle. The one who should have been there all along. As for me, I lost a best friend. But I learned something valuable. Trust is not just about the good times. It's about the secrets. The dark corners people hide. If someone hides a whole part of themselves, you have to ask, what else are they hiding? Derek's dark truth wasn't that he had a twin. It was that he was willing to destroy that twin to build his own happiness. And in the end, that truth destroyed him instead. Sometimes, the people we think we know best are the ones wearing the most convincing masks. And the bravest thing you can do is be willing to look behind the mask, even if you're afraid of what you'll find. I still think about that Tuesday night. The cold air. The foggy windows. If I hadn't answered that text, I would still be friends with a liar.
I would still be blind.
Sometimes, the truth hurts. But living a lie? That hurts so much more.